Hello everyone, Namaskar. Welcome to Gurukul Parenting. Through this series, we share with you certain tips and suggestions that will make your journey as a parent more meaningful and smooth. Very often, when I talk to the parents of my school, they mention about how difficult it is to make their child to sit at home for studies, how difficult it is to make them to focus on their studies with so much of distraction around, such as TV, mobile phones, video games, etc. So today I'm going to talk about how to deal with a child who is not interested in studies. As parents, we are so much laying stress on not only the academics, we want our kids to do well, not only in their academics, but also in various aspects of their life. But we need to stop and check whether we are setting realistic expectations on our kids, or are we really helping him or her towards achieving it? Let's see how we as parents can help our child utilize her time more meaningfully at home and involve themselves in doing self-study. So, tip number one, fix a proper study time at home. Whenever the children come back from school, we notice as parents, mostly the mothers, bombard the kids with questions such as have you had your tiffin? What is the homework given to you today? What has happened in the school? So on and so forth. Wait. This is definitely not the time to ask all these questions to your child. Remember, the child has just returned back from a very long day at school. So, what we need to do is we need to give the child to unwind and refresh first. Give him some time to relax. And I suggest we fix a particular time for studies called as study time as per the schedule of your child and you at home. If the child comes back from school at around 1 p.m., then the ideal study time would be between 3 p.m. to say 6 p.m. And if the child has a long day at school and comes back by around 4 p.m., then the ideal study time would be between 7 p.m. to 8:30 or 9. And this time, the study time, should be religiously followed as a routine by you and your child. And every day the child has to be made to sit for studies during this study time. If the child is very small, then one of the parents, either the mother or the father, can sit along with the child and study along with him. If the child is little older, then also I advise that you sit with your child. You could be doing your work maybe by sitting on the laptop and completing your work as your child is studying alongside you, so that if the child has any difficulty or any questions, he can ask you. So, in this way, every day consistently when you make your child to sit for studies at that particular study time, then it forms a routine and children understand the routine and eventually they will work well in their studies. Tip number two, create a study environment at home. Just like you need to fix a particular time of study at home as per your schedule, it is very important to create a study environment at your home. By study environment, I mean we have to create a position where the child is able to focus on his or her studies. Remove all the distractions around your home. That is, switch off your television sets, no mobile phones. We often notice that there is no particular space where the child would sit for studies every day. One day he's sitting in the living room, another day he's sitting in the bedroom to study, another day he would be sitting in the kitchen as the mother is preparing something at home in the kitchen. So rather it is advisable that even if it is a 1 BHK apartment, to provide the child with the proper space, a table space and a chair, and regularly the child must sit on in that space to do his studies. Remember, studying is just like meditation. Gaining knowledge is just like meditation, and the aura of the place helps the child to acquire that knowledge. So it's very important to create a proper environment. Even we have to see that the children, if they are very very small, then their attention span is very low. So in order for them to focus on their studies, even sometimes the family members walking inside the room, in and out of the room, creates the distraction. Or if there are family members who are talking very loudly in the adjacent room, creates distraction, and the child's brain will start absorbing what is going on around him rather than focusing on the studies. So it is very important to create a proper study environment, and this will help the child to focus 100% on the studies and do well in whatever he is doing at that particular time. Tip number 3: lay stress on the learning process rather than on achieving the grades or marks. When your kid is sitting for studies, focus more on learning properly through a proper learning process rather than learning just for grade or for the marks. When your child is sitting for studies and doing any particular subject, make the child to read the textbook first before he attempts to learn the question answers given in the class, or learning the spellings in the class. In this way, the child, as he's reading the topic, he understands the topic better and learning becomes more meaningful. As he's reading the topic, ask questions to check whether the child is understanding what he's reading. If not, then you can explain to him, or you could also put a note to his subject teacher on the message book, asking her to explain that particular concept which your child has not understood the next day in the class. So focus on the learning process rather than on learning just for grade or marks, or learning by rote, because when you shift your focus to the proper learning process, and the process is 100% correct, then automatically the grades will come. Tip number 4: be on your kid's side. If your kid has a difficulty in particular subject or a concept, then you can help your child's learning by either talking to that teacher, the subject teacher in the school, or you have to give him some extra practice or guidance which will help him to make his learning easy. Giving him that extra guidance or extra practice will help him to learn or understand that concept where he has his difficulty and make it more easy for him. Tip number 5. Make a proper study timetable. Many a times, the kids start studying only when the exams come round the corner. Rather, if you make a proper study timetable right from the beginning and allocate 1 to 2 hours for studying at least 2 subjects every day, probably maths and one more subject, then as the portion is going on in the classroom, the kid will be able to catch up with the portion as he is studying those subjects at home. When he is doing the self-study of the topics that are covered in the class, when he reads the topic, reads the textbook at home, at the same time when he comes home during his study time, definitely what he has not understood in the classroom, he will understand that when he is reading that textbook at home. You also, as you're discussing with the child about the portion that is going on in the classroom, if the child has any difficulty, you can approach the teacher, ask for the teacher to explain it again to the child as he is practicing those concepts in the home, will definitely help the child do well in the studies. As you are preparing the study timetable, make your child to help you decide which subjects he is going to study this week or the next week, and try to schedule that timetable with the help of your child. With this way, the child takes the responsibility of his or her own on his own, and he will put in his efforts more sincerely, and over a period of time you will notice that the child becomes an independent learner and develops his or her own style of studying. Tip number 6. Understand your kids' learning style. We all know that each child is unique and different. No two kids are the same, not even the siblings in the same family, nor the twins. Understanding the child's learning style is very important. Some children learn better when pictures are shown to them. Some children learn better when they are explained to by others. Some children learn as they are discussing with their peers, while some of them learn better as they are making their own notes. So, understanding your child's style of learning is very important to make their or support their process of learning by the parents. Tip number 7. Teach them to learn from their failures. It is very important as parents to teach our kids to face failures. No matter how much we shield our kids with a protective cover through their growing years, sometimes in their life they have to face delayed successes, disappointments, failures, and it is very important as parents to teach our children how to cope up with such situations. This skill of facing unexpected circumstances is a very important skill that they must acquire. First, focus more on the efforts rather than the results. If your child has really put in efforts, has worked hard for that particular course or the exam, and yet has not achieved the desired success, it is important as parents to focus more on the efforts of the child and encourage the child and support him in that rather than focusing on the end result. You have to put in a positive statement encouraging the child to consistently work hard and try again to do more and more better each time. In this way, the child knows that you are there for him, whether he is successful or whether he is not. That your support is always there for him goes a long way as the child keeps putting efforts in whatever that he does. Tip number 8. Be firm in study matter. You may shower all your love and spoil your kid to the core in all other matters, but when it comes to study and discipline, you have to stick to the rules that you have put in. Many a times I have noticed that parents are very lenient. They are not so very serious about their kids' studies at home unless their child is answering the boards. I have also noticed that the parents who take time to sit with their child to study at home regularly and who are taking interest and putting in their efforts to support their child's learning at home, definitely their children do well in the school. Of course, teachers are there in school to support your child's learning, but the kids whose parents are supportive at home and consistently they are studying, if you create a proper congenial learning environment at home, if you consistently make your child to sit at that particular time, forming a daily routine practice, support the child's doubt. If he has any doubt, talk to the teachers and support him in his learning journey, then the child also over a period of time, as he's growing, becomes responsible for his or her studies. And as he is studying, it becomes more meaningful for the child. And definitely, one day, he is going to make you a proud parent. I hope all these suggestions and tips that I have discussed today are of some help to you. And I wish you a very happy journey as a parent together with Gurukul School. For more suggestions and videos like this, do not forget to put your comments on the comment section and like and share our channel.